Hi everyone, it's me again. I just watched the episode for Higurashi Sotsu, the first part for Wataakashi Hand Part 1, and goodness, it was mind-blowing because it completely changed everything about what I knew about this particular arc for Watanagashi. I mean, I never believed in my heart that MION was gonna be the culprit for this one, because as you know, MION is the only club member that doesn't get Hinamizawa syndrome, and right here, the answer we get here completely changes everything, and it starts answering to some questions to what exactly happened here in Watanagashi. As you know, this is one of the arcs where I have so many questions and there's just so many questions left unanswered. But anyway, let's begin. So the episode begins with Rika waking up after committing suicide, and remember that Rika cannot recall what happened upon her death. We also learn that Hanyu is unable to see the fragments or join Rika. This makes me believe that Hanyu's power is just very weak at this point, since she's just a fragment of her true self. And this is where things get very freaky. We see Satoko and Ewa watching Rika and Hanyu's conversation. This is just mind-blowing and just scary. I mean, Sadako says that she still feels the pain from slicing her own neck. Ewa explains that her power is just very strong, and if Sadako would like, she could even grant Sadako with memory loss, so she will not remember the pain upon her death. Also, we see her calling Hanyu a failure, and this is interesting how Ewa is literally able to watch Hanyu and calling her a failure. I mean, this is already making me doubt maybe they're not might be the same person, but I don't know. I think they still might be the same person, because the Hanyu that's with Rika right now is just a fragment. It's not even the real Hanyu anymore. Also, we get reminded that in order for Satoko to chase the same Rika, she has to die after Rika. We then start the episode on June 5th, which is completely shocking. As you know, Watanagashi starts on June 12th. Then we see Satoko making her way to Teppei's home, and this left me shocked. Remember that in Satokowashi, Teppei began to have memories from other previous timelines and decided to change his ways. And Satoko, seeing this, she uses Teppei to her own advantage and takes him to a horse track and has him place a bet to win a large amount of money. Once Satoko gets him drunk enough, she gets information from him to where obtain something dangerous, which is the gun. And this is where things get super interesting. Remember, many people were asking, even myself, how was Satoko able to get a gun? I mean, literally pull it out of nowhere and point it at Rika when she was found out in Nekodamashi. And also, this reveals that the gun that was found when Satoko's and Mion's dead bodies were found in the hall of the Sonosaki mansion, this is the same gun. There's no mistake about it. And also, we learned something so shocking and scary. We see in a flashback, Satoko asking Mion to teach her how to shoot a gun. And then we see Satoko practicing in other timelines. We see her growing older and her precision and accuracy improving. So this is just insane. Then we finally start on June 12th, where we see Mion and Rena calling Satoko and Rika about the tournament at the toy store. We see the club members arriving, getting to their tables, and we see Satoko playing that same card game with the same group of kids. Remember that in Satokowashi, we see Satoko playing with those same kids numerous times to the point she remembers all the cards. I mean, literally here we see Satoko complaining that she has played with them numerous times that she even lost count. And once Satoko and Mion finish winning their games, they leave briefly to get some drinks. This is where things change. I mean, I was wondering what exactly happened when Satoko and Mion left the store briefly, just the two of them alone. And I couldn't believe this. We see Satoko pulling out the syringe, ready to inject Mion. We then see Satoko talking to Ewa, where she realizes that Mion is the only club member that doesn't fall victim to the Hinamizawa syndrome, and is curious to see what effect it could have. And I just couldn't believe this. Then we see Mion's uncle giving gifts to all the club members. Of course, Mion doesn't get a gift, and Rika then advises Keiichi to give the doll to Mion. Then the last shot we see of this episode is the empty syringe on the floor near the vending machine. And goodness, the episode literally almost answered what exactly happened in Watanagashi. But I still have some questions, like how did Satoko manage to inject Mion with H173 without Mion feeling the prick from the needle? I mean, I will literally feel if someone would have pricked me with a needle. I mean, anyone would. So this is still a mystery to me. Also, after learning that MION is injected with H173, I kind of figure out what exactly happens here. I mean, I literally went back to rewatching videos, also reading my notes for the BN for Watanagashi, and I think I figure out what exactly happens here. I mean, remember MION is injected with H173, which completely changes everything here. Remember that in Watanagashi, Shion is the person that falls victim to the Hinamizawa syndrome. Remember that when Shion drags Keiji to the warehouse, they sneak inside. We see that Shion and Tomitake already experiencing symptoms of the Hinamizawa syndrome. As you know, only those who are on the upper stages of Hinamizawa syndrome, they're gonna hear the stomping and all those noises. Then during the night of Watanagashi, I remember that Shion goes to the Sonosaki mansion to celebrate and falls asleep. Then when she wakes up, she misunderstands a conversation she hears and knocks her sister and takes her to the underground dungeon. Then of course she kills Oreo, brings her to the underground dungeon. Then she follows up by getting the mayor, Rika and Satoko, and then finally Keiji. And of course, after Keiji is knocked down, she forces MION to switch places with her before pushing her to the well. In Watanagashi, it's quite similar, but there are some slight differences and other big differences. When Rika's performance starts, the group is separated, and this is where Shion drives Keiji to the warehouse. However, one thing I noticed while they're inside the warehouse, Shion doesn't show any symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome, and neither Tomitake. Also, after Rika's performance, we see Satoko is completely missing. And also that during this time, after everyone leaves, we learn that Tomitake and Takano steal a band and they flee in terror. I mean, it makes me wonder, did Satoko might have something to do with this? Did she do something? Who knows? Also, we see Oishi approaching Keiji, and this is where he learns about Takano's and Tomitake's disappearance. Then Keiji gets a phone call from Shion, where she also has learned about Tomitake and Takano's disappearance, and when Keiji starts getting terrified and lashing out on her, Shion hangs up. Then the following day, which is June 20th, we learn that MION didn't get much sleep since she was looking for Kimiyoshi. And now that it's been confirmed that MION is injected with H173, this completely confirms that MION is already suffering from Hinamizawa syndrome, very likely the higher stages. And this literally confirms that she already killed the mayor, her grandmother, and very likely Shion. As you know, when Shion hangs up the phone, she never calls Keiji again. And remember that in Watanagashi, Shion calls Keiji numerous times. Then after Rika disappears, remember the school starts looking for her, and Keiji goes inside this room, tries to open the door, but it feels like someone is behind that door and holding it. And then we see, MION distracting him, telling him that, oh, she saw something at the roof. She gets a ladder, and of course, Keiji climbs the ladder to see what's on the roof, and this is where MION has this very freaky moment and starts blaming Rika for the curse. Remember when this moment happened, this was Shion pretending to be MION and was blaming Satoko for the curse. But this is actually MION, but she's not blaming Rika, which makes me wonder, how did she come up to this conclusion by this point? We then go all the way to the point where MION calls Keiji, telling him to meet up at the water wheel. Then she takes him inside her home, then lures him to the underground dungeon where she locks him up. Remember that outside, we see the same guys that were outside the clinic. They're now trying to get inside the Sonosaki mansion, and MION grabs her revolver and is ready to go outside. Before she leaves, remember that MION confesses her love to Keiji and thanks him for treating her like a girl. And yeah, I think this literally confirms that this is MION. And then after Keiji is rescued, then he recovers, we learn that Oreo, Shion's, and I think the mayor's bodies were found inside the well. And also Satoko and MION were found dead on the hallway. And remember that the gun that MION was taking was a revolver, but the gun that's found between them is a handgun, and it's the exact same gun that Satoko bought from that guy. And I think this likely confirms that Satoko killed MION. But this is where I have questions. First of all, why is Satoko inside the Sonosaki mansion, and how was she able to get inside? Based on what I remember from the BN, the Konosaki mansion is well secure. I mean, it's almost literally impossible to get inside. I mean, we saw that the mountain dogs were kind of able to break inside the dungeon. And remember that I guess the mountain dogs were trying to break inside the home, but we don't even see them after Keiichi is rescued. Also, it makes me wonder, why did Satoko kill MION if she actually killed MION? What was the purpose of doing this? I mean, who knows? After all, Rika is already dead at this point, so Satoko needs to hurry up and kill herself. But why did she wait so long to kill herself? Which is just a mystery to me. But anyways, I hope you'll enjoy this video. I'm so excited to see the next video and see if my theories are correct or form new theories, because just this first episode nearly answered everything in Watanagashi. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video.